Lions fan. Welcome to Tia Juanita. I'm your DJ here at the TJ, yeah. And I'm sitting here with Coach Rick Meeks. It's the Coach Rick Meeks Show, live from Tia Juanita's. Catch of the day. We're talking Lions football, and Lions athletics, all autumn long. Lion Nation. Makes a guy want to roar, don't it? Sit back and get ready. Because the coach, can you dig it, is in the house.
Let's try this again, Chris Wallington.
Okay, hey, once again, we're starting the season and the broadcast. Welcome to Tia Juanita's.
This time for real.
For real. In Henderson, Texas, home of the Fighting Lions. Chris Wallington, the counselor Stephen Shires. We're with NETSN, Northeast Texas Sports Network, where we covered Coach Meeks as a Rough Rider coach for 4 years and enjoyed the experience so much we thought we'd come over to Henderson to Tia Juanita's and bring another Coach Meeks show. Brought to you by Edward Jones Investments, Micah Howard, and he'll be here soon. So, Coach, it's early August. We've never done anything this early. But, I mean, the high school athletic world is underway even though school is not.
Right. Yeah, no, we've kicked off today. Everything's in full swing with the fall sports.
Yeah.
You know, volleyball was able to start last Friday. Cross-country team tennis has been rocking and rolling. And so – football in the mix today, so you know, it's an exciting time, and I know everybody is fired up about the start of football season.
And we will talk about football and cross country, team tennis, and volleyball and all those other things before the show is over. But here in this first segment, I just wanted you to know that we miss you and your family. Your family's right over there.
They sure are. They're over there.
We'll pan the camera soon when they're not watching, when they've got their mouth
right, with their mouths full of stuff.
We'll get a candid shot. We miss you in center, but I know that Henderson is bound to be welcoming to you because you have spent a lot of your life in Henderson. So tell us a little bit just about getting settled through the summer and late in the spring when you were first getting started with Henderson Lions.
Yeah, you know, we hit the ground running trying to establish, you know, the foundation and the culture that we want within our athletic department. And so, honestly, it's really kind of flown by. There was a lot of things that we wanted to get done. There was a lot of things that we wanted to establish before today as we rolled into practice and getting ready for the season. And so, I mean, the transition's been great. You know, the kids are buying into the change and buying into the expectation. We've been able to put together a phenomenal staff, boys and girls, all sports. Very excited about that piece of it. And you know, so it's been really good. But like I said, it has flown by. It's hard to believe that we're already starting practice today. But
today was day one, right?
Today was day one. So got that in this morning, but it's crazy to think the season's already here.
It is here.
But nonetheless, it is. So we got to rock and roll and get going.
As athletic director, head coach, when you arrive to a new place, I know that every situation is different, but what's one of the challenges that's just kind of common when you first arrive? New students, new coaches, and you have to find coaches. What's one of those things that you just know it's the first year I got to take care of it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is establishing the culture and the standard that you want amongst the whole program. It cannot be about just one individual sport. It's got to be how we're going to do everything. And so my mindset with that and kind of what I expect, those things have got to be established from the start, because that's what runs your program. So if you wait to get those things established, then you've started off on the wrong foot. So
Right.
getting kind of the policies in place and the way we want to do things and the expectation amongst the coaches and the kids and how we're going to coach the kids and the language that we're going to use in terms of, our pillars and what those pillars mean and how we communicate those and how we talk about those. That's what I mean by language. But getting that stuff established is huge. That's the foundation. That is the, we talked about it many times over 4 years, right? That we've got to have that foundation built so we can go vertical with our program.
And if you're new to Coach Meeks, as most of you will be, he says culture, he says pillars. That doesn't mean anything, right? And you're probably thinking fundamentals of football. That's not what you're talking. And one of the most rewarding things for Shires and me when you first got here was helping you communicate a refreshing set of standards that you bring to a program. Here's your first chance to tell, well, you've probably already told some folks, but your first chance on air, what are those pillars?
So first, culture to us and culture to me and the way that we have talked about it with the coaches, first and foremost, like, we're not talking about this lovey-dovey soft culture. Culture is our standard in how we do things, whether it's in practice, in the classroom, and in the community. Like, that is what we mean by that. And so with that, our pillars, we have 5 things that represent what we do within our athletic program, all sports, in season, off season, and they're 5 for a reason. We can be very intentional about those throughout the course of the week. And so Mondays, we talk about ownership. That was our message today, and what that means, and it changes based off of where we're at in the season. But ownership's on Monday. Tomorrow is going to be all about grit. Wednesday is being a blessing to one another. Thursday is building relationships amongst each other, and Friday's trust in the process. And with those pillars, we have a common language that we like to speak. That way we're all saying the same things.
Right.
Coaches are saying the same things to the kids. Kids are talking it back and forth. Kids back to coaches. And then just like we did in center, our bigger vision is then it transforms into the school district, and then it transforms into the community. And so, once again, we're building that foundation, and we want that to continue to just kind of radiate in the community. And so that's huge. And those 5 things, nothing says the scoreboard is going to say this.
Right.
All 5 things have to do with building our athletes into better young men and young women, better students. And then once they leave and go into college or they go into the workforce, it's going to help them in that world too. But through that, the wins are going to happen. The scoreboard's going to be what we want it to be, but it's because we developed the person.
And Counselor, we've heard similar things from a lot of coaches that have come through.
Yeah.
When was it, do you remember, I haven't prepared you for this question, but about when did you realize Coach Meeks is serious about this?
Well, I was just impressed. Like you said, it's intentional, right? Because we all talk about, these are all principles that we would hope that every coaching staff implements in their players, not only because it benefits the play on the field, but because of what it does after that. We've talked about many times how my life and how I approach things was fashioned by my football coach,
Right.
Coach Bill Bryant.
Right.
And so these things, they matter. But the thing that Coach Meeks does that's kind of been different from what we've seen is, Coach Bryant had little sayings, plan your work your plan, and various things like that. But Coach Meeks has got a very specific, these pillars are very, like I said, intentional is the best word, where you each one has this very specific thing.
Tuesday, tomorrow, grit. That'll be that way the 3rd Tuesday of October.
That's right. And we had a good day today, all right? But with grit becomes language of so what, now what? So tomorrow morning, so what, now what? What are we going to do tomorrow? It doesn't matter that we had a good day on Monday. We've got to have a good day today, no different than when you're working a case or a
Oh,
trial.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if you had a successful trial a month ago, you've got to have another one
That's right.
where you're at. And so it doesn't matter that you've accomplished something. It's great. Like, we can celebrate it 7 months from now at the football banquet.
Right.
But right now, we've got to worry about tomorrow and not worry about what we did yesterday. And so it's a long process, and it's something that our kids are not used to just yet.
Yeah. How long do you feel like in center? Did you feel like, okay, finally, this is taking root?
I think it was that second year. Once we started in on that second football season, and all of a sudden, early in that season, our wins kind of started happening. But I think the biggest moment was when we played North DeSoto that second year, and we got off to a terrible start. But it was 28-0.
Yeah.
Like 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, before the kickoff.
But the way we played the remainder of the game, even though we lost, it ended up 70 to 55-ish, something like that.
It's a game.
But I really think, even though in defeat, I feel like that was the point that kind of our kids' mentality flipped, that, okay, what they are saying matters, and it does correlate to the game, just in a different way.
Right.
And then that way is what's going to help us generate success. And so I really think that was kind of the deciding factor and the turning point.
Week
but it
2,
is,
year
it's,
2.
But it's just a little bit different. It's a different way to think. It puts kids in an uncomfortable situation, and human nature says, I don't like that.
Right.
Human nature is just, I want to survive. I do not want any type of friction or conflict. I just kind of want to go through my day, have my meals, wake up in the morning, go to bed at night, and get up the next day and do it. But, if you truly want to be successful, whether it's in a game or whether you want to be successful in life, you've got to get out of human nature, and you've got to kind of challenge those things. And so that's why I love our message, and that's why I love that we take that approach. And it's been proven that success will happen.
There you go. It's a little bit different talking to Coach Meeks, and that's what we've enjoyed for the past 4 years and one day here on August 4th. We're live from Tia Juanita's. Preston, the manager, is,
Hey, Preston's an awesome guy.
Yes.
He is an awesome guy.
We traded in pizza temporarily for
Mexicajun.
Mexicajun chips and dip, a variety of a very delicious cheese bowl with shrimp on top of it. Larry Pierce and I have been fighting over that.
Yeah, there's been some elbows thrown.
That's right. And then some crawfish tails with a nice remoulade sauce.
That's it.
That's a what?
Remoulade.
Remoulade?
That's what I believe that is.
I'm going to have to try that now that I know what it is. As Tia Juanita's, we'd love for you to come down here and join us for what's left of the Rick Meeks Show. It's brought to you by Micah Howard at Edward Jones Investments. We heard from him earlier. We will hear from him soon, live and in person. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk specifically about Lion football with a couple of new guys at the table. We'll be right back.
Hey, has the world of finance ever left you a little confused? Not sure if you're moving up or down? Well, that's why America has Edward Jones and why East Texas has Micah Howard. He helps you make sense of all those symbols because, symbols make noise. So when you trust your finances to Micah Howard, you're relieved. Edward Jones, make sense of investing. JBA Financial Services brings you Coach Talk, and there's a reason for that. John Black knows that when you're preparing for an important game, you need a plan, and they'd like to be a part of the details, the X's and O's of that plan. He's put together a good team, a coaching staff that would help you and your family get where they want to go. At JBA Financial Services, they're working to secure your family's future. Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm.
Hey, welcome back here to Tia Juanitas. Am I saying it right? I got that right. Yeah. And we're with Brett Sweeney of NETSN, and joining us here is Coach. And Coach, good to see you, man. I know
Good to
that
see
you good summer there, and I hope you had a good one so far. And I know we're getting ready for some football. Got Lions football. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And I know you've talked a little bit about Brett. And Brett, we're going to have some Lions football on NETSN this year. Tell us a little bit what's up, man.
We've got 3 games on the schedule. Trying to get a little Henderson football in. We've got the game over I think it's in Kaufman, the neutral site game with Gainesville. And then we have the Kilgore game at home, and then also finish the season with a big one with Lindale, which is probably going to be pretty important there at the end. Kind of the way the district's shaping up.
Right.
So
I sure hope it's an important one.
I think, Well, the last year it wasn't. It was a win or go home game last year, and so hopefully it will be already locked in for you guys this year. But it'll be important no matter what. That district is. As we all know, the District of Doom, it's tough. Week in and week out, I think it's going to be a battle this year.
Yeah, it's definitely pegged accurately. Very challenging district, and but I mean, that's high expectations, and that's what you want. I mean, you want to have that in front of you, and so it's a big challenge, and but we welcome it, and I think we've approached it the right way up to this point in terms of summer workouts and the way we have talked about those things with the kids from the coaches, and so we're excited about it.
You get to kind of build off what Coach Baker started the last couple of years. I mean, Henderson football was not what it has been, in the past, and Coach Baker is able to, get the team back where it should be. And so, what are you looking to kind of build off of what he's done the last couple of years?
Well, I have a ton of respect for Clay. We were in the district together when I was at Alto and he was at Carlisle. Had some really good games against each other, and so just a ton of respect for him and what he does as a head coach and the type of teams that he's been able to put together. And they're really, the one thing that really stands out, and once again it just goes back to what I just said, but our kids' work ethic is very high. So that's a huge compliment to him and just kind of his expectations and where the kids were. So that's made the transition really good for us because obviously we expect the same. And so the fact that they already kind of were in that mindset, it made some of the it made a lot of the transition a lot easier as maybe we changed a few things that we believe in philosophically. But all of it still takes hard work and dedication. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of different ways that you can do things. So the fact that our kids were already there, then it allows us to kind of get those things implemented at an early stage to where we can build on them and maybe not, 7 weeks into the season. We're able to do things right now.
Well, you say us, okay? You brought a pretty nice little staff with you. Give us a kind of a lowdown. You got some guys with some head coaching experience on your staff. Tell us a little bit about those guys.
Well, we were able to put together a phenomenal staff, and I believe a lot of that comes just from relationships that happen throughout the business. Those are extremely important to me. So connections that I've made up to that point and just staying in touch with guys and, clinicking with them out of season and past seasons and just kind of building that relationship. And so when this opportunity came about, being able to rein some of those guys in has been huge. And so being able to pull in 2 head coaches in Thomas Sitton and Jason Holman who have worked together before, but it allowed them to get back together and working. Offensive coordinators in Chris Valerie at Longview, Nick Smith that was at Rusk, defensive coordinator Michael Davis who was at Spring Hill. And just being able to establish that into a staff, one, the knowledge is crazy. But 2, I think the more important thing now is the connections and the resources that our kids have through our coaches now is invaluable. Whether it's a chance for them to play at the next level, connections into the workforce, connections to college, and then lifelong connections because of the way that we build the relationships amongst the kids. And so, I'm extremely excited about that. It's been a different dynamic because of the knowledge and the and the experience in the room. But our conversations are pretty awesome and pretty elaborate in terms of what's important, how we need to approach practice, the game planning process. It's been pretty cool.
All right, so game 1's coming up here in the next month. what's your biggest thing that you think that you guys need to work on to be successful this year? What's that number one thing?
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to have to go off of kind of where we're at today because it's kind of been our first day. But it's the way we've got to have a better understanding about the way we practice and how important that is. You know, and we had a good day today. We had a good day today because, you know, the kids show up and they knew we had practice. Well, it's what I'm just supposed to do. Let me go do practice. Let me be there. Let me do my job. But we didn't have very much enthusiasm. We weren't celebrating small victories. We might have celebrated big victories during plays or this and that. But there's celebrations and enthusiasm and things that have got to happen every single play. So our energy's got to pick up. We got to understand the importance of that. Because when you look at a week, you know, there's 4 and 5 days that you prepare for one. So we've got to spend more time in that preparation than necessarily on a Friday night because the preparation piece is so much bigger. So we've got to flip that script a little bit. We got to understand what our practice mentality needs to be and the importance of that. And so with that, then I think we can be in a spot that we need to be come week one when we play Athens, who's going to be a very good opponent. They return a lot of starters. We're very familiar with them because they were in our district and center.
I think it's a big game for both teams.
Absolutely.
Coach Harrell, what he's doing over there in Athens, he's trying to build his program, and that, of course, in a district that you're very familiar with.
Yes.
And so I think it's going to be a big game for both teams. I think last year was a one-touchdown game, very, very exciting offensive game week one.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's going to be a big one for both of you guys. Do you have some guys that are leaders this year in your group of guys? I mean, you may not have gotten to practice a lot, but you worked with them, you know, came in last spring. Some guys that are leaders this year that you look to step up and kind of lead your team this year?
Yeah, and so we were senior heavy in the offensive line last year, and so we're going to, you know, not necessarily be young in the offensive line, but we're not returning a lot of experience. So that was one position right there that we put a lot of time in the spring and summer in developing some leadership there. But as far as returning leaders, you know, in the skill positions, we have some guys back who played a big role in the season last year. And, you know, so Justin Starlin, or better known as Meaty, at running back, who had a great season last year. And
he's got like over 2,000 yards over his career, I believe.
Correct. And, you know, right at 1,400 of them were last year. And so he had a great year last year. Lamarian Coleman, who played some inside and outside receiver, he's going to be a two-way guy for us. He's going to, you know, he's one that we're going to have to put a lot of responsibility on. Jordan Irvin, who just recently committed to SFA, is going to play some running back and some linebacker. Big presence for us in the middle at linebacker. You know, Vince Howard is a returning quarterback for us. And so just some really key pieces there to where we have something we can hang our hat on that's going to allow some others like a Braylon Walker and Corey Harper and, you know, some guys like that who are talented enough to be big roles on Friday night. It's just going to allow them to relax and go play because maybe some of those other guys are going to carry a lot, you know, not necessarily a lot of the load, but some more because of returning experience. And so that's going to be big for us. It's going to be big for us to have those guys early on step up and lead the way.
I think one thing, Coach, is really going to have to maybe be different that your team's going to have to get used to is they're probably not used to playing that many defensive plays because you have a pretty good run in their offense. But, I mean, we know why it runs like that. It's purposely like that. You may have a little bit. How's that defense adjusting to maybe putting in probably maybe 15 or 20 extra plays or maybe even more per game this year?
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about a second ago in terms of our practice mentality. We've got to get more reps in practice. We didn't get in today what we technically had scripted out because of time and things like that. And we've got to get in that mentality. We've got to play faster. We've got to get lined up. But because of that, it's for that reason. You know, we've got to get our guys in better shape. Defensive guys ready to play more snaps. And so that's a mentality that we have to develop, and that happens through practice. So that's why that is so important for us.
Yeah. You know how you win games in the fourth quarter? Practice, weight room, practice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's how you win in the fourth quarter.
You can't be
That's
tired
it.
in that fourth quarter.
You
No, you
practice
can't.
weight room practice. That's it. If you ain't hungry, stay home. That's it. That's the way I look at it. But it is going to be an exciting season for you, Coach. And I know that the family here, moving here to Henderson is a great thing for you guys. So the transition's been well. I'm taking it, everything's been really good, and I'm liking things are working out for you well. And I'm glad we get to keep a little bit of the relationship that we have with
Absolutely.
you two, because I think that's awesome. And so this is really good, I think, for you and your family too. I think.
Yeah. No, it's great. Coming back to Henderson has been great. We were here for, I think, 6 years before we left from Henderson and went to Pittsburgh. And
we won't talk too much about some of those years. There's little painful memories on some of that.
Yeah.
Not for you, but
I brought it up to Coach Sitton the other day, and he said, "Well, we made it back in 11, and you didn't." So
we did get ours.
That's
finally.
right. That's right. But it was a great time, and not only did we have success, I was just one thing that obviously I cherish a lot is I was fortunate enough to be able to work with my dad, and so. But coming back, man, it's the community has been great. The amount of support from the community to the school district is awesome, and so definitely high expectations. But I welcome that. I mean, it's why we do what we do, and we like that. So, but yes, transition's been great, and looking forward to the season ahead.
I tell you what, too, and I haven't been out there, but I mean, you guys have, got to have some good facilities out there. So, it's state of art stuff, everything, like to your liking as to what would you have as their facilities that is make it successful for your football team?
Absolutely. When we were here prior, we had the indoor, so obviously, that's a great resource. But I think around 2016-ish, 2017 is when they did a lot of the renovations to the stadium in terms of with the turf and the press box and renovating the locker rooms.
Yeah, top of the line.
And
I
it's
always enjoy
phenomenal.
going to Henderson.
Yes.
We're going to be taken care of. There's plenty of room. It's when they first built it, it's kind of over there off by itself because it's not next to the high school, which
Correct.
is kind of strange. But it is, we call it the Taj Mahal of stadiums, because you just looking at the press box, it's just enormous.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Man, they did it right. And so the renovations with that are top notch. So
Right. That's cool.
Definitely a great place to play a home football game.
Right. I tell you what, it's going to be good, man. I'm so ready for some Friday Night Football. All right, well, we're going to take a break here. Let's talk about a big thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Ace Hardware, Center Tire, Covington Lumber, also our sponsor of the night, JBI Insurance in Center, Poultry Farms, Mobile Homes, Joe Bill specializes in getting you the best insurance. Sabine State Bank, Micah Howard, and talking a little bit about more with Coach Meeks coming up here at Tia Juanita's in Henderson, NETSN.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Well, Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name, and they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank. Hey, has the world of finance ever left you a little confused? Not sure if you're moving up or down? Well, that's why America has Edward Jones and why East Texas has Micah Howard. He helps you make sense of all those symbols because, symbols make noise. So when you trust your finances to Micah Howard, you're relieved. Edward Jones, make sense of investing. You're watching The Rick Meeks Show, live from Tia Juanita's in Henderson, Texas. The coach is in the house.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Tia Juanita's in Henderson, Texas. That's Coach Meeks, and over there, that's Micah Howard. He is an old friend of mine and an old Henderson Lion. When did you graduate?
1996.
Yeah, an old Henderson Lion. Yeah. And you played ball?
A little bit, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was your position?
I was defensive end, outside linebacker type.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
How was the team back in the mid '90s?
We had an excellent group. We went 3 rounds, lost in the quarterfinal.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Let's see. The Lamarck ended up winning that year, but we were pretty stout. Yeah.
Where were you in that's 95,
fall
of 95?
Fall of 95, correct.
Where were you?
I was in 6th grade at Chapel Hill.
Okay. So you don't really remember that team?
Oh, yeah. We were in the same district.
Yeah. In 5th grade, you were aware of that stuff because
I was on the sideline ball boy.
Yeah.
You know, Dad was the head coach at Chapel Hill at that time.
Yeah.
DA Dennis Alexander was their head coach.
That is correct.
No, very familiar with all of that.
Yeah, he knows stuff.
So this just reminded me. Speaking of that reminded me of a great story, which I've told him, but I haven't told you. Let me see if I get this straight. His grandfather coached my dad in Little League Baseball down in Nederland, Texas, back in late 60s, early 70s would have been.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
In Nederland.
Nederland, yeah. Down there, all the refinery jobs were down there. Great football teams that they had down there in those days. And my dad still is retired. He gets together with all his old football buddies, and they tell the stories.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
That's great. Don was from Nederland.
Yeah.
He went to high school there.
Both my mom and dad did.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm learning stuff right here on the air.
And that's where, y'all's family down that part of the way.
Correct.
They had, it was a store he
Yeah.
had?
Yeah, Granddad had a store.
Yeah.
Self-service or full-service service station.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You learn
So
stuff at Tia's.
They lived.
We're going deep.
They lived
quick.
down there for a while, and then ended up moving to Rayville, Louisiana, which is where my dad ended up going to high school and graduating from. But yeah, he has a lot of history in Nederland, and we still have a lot of family down there. So yes, sir.
Okay. I married into the Golden Triangle place.
Hampshire Finette, and I have an uncle that lives in Hampshire
That's
Finette.
everywhere.
Yeah, the Longhorns.
Meeks is everywhere.
Roots run deep.
Yeah.
That's right. And had his son won golf his senior year. He won the 3A state championship at Hampshire Finette. Sure did. Went and played golf at Lamar. He actually runs a golf course in Houston now. But anyway,
okay,
we'll get back on topic.
Yeah, well, that kind of is really the topic. Is I wanted Micah. He told me a story a week ago that I said, man, I hope you can come by the show. You are a Pop Warner Henderson football coach.
Sure, yeah.
And what's the name of the team?
Well, we're the Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have attended very recently a coaching clinic put on by this guy.
Yeah, so yes, now it's time to give our props to Coach Meeks here, and just what a great thing for the community, the town, the football community to help coach the coaches of the youth program.
Right.
There's been 2 clinics. I hated I missed the first one, but I did come to the second one, and it was just fantastic, because and what came across is their biggest recommendation is to make sure that the boys still love the game of football, you know, and I think that's great advice, and so we're gonna try to make sure that happens. But as you know, football's a tough love. It doesn't always love you back.
It is.
Like
you are correct.
But it was just a great experience, and that was my first chance to meet Coach Sitton, and I was fired up.
Yeah.
I mean, I played defense, and I was ready to try to tackle somebody, which probably would have ended up in an ER visit, but it was great. And so, yeah, super excited, super cool thing for them to do that and to support the youth program.
What's one thing that you talked about other than just generically love the game? What coaching thing did you learn?
We got to see some good tackling drills, really good tackling drills, pursuit drills for today's fast, wide-open game. And in that Pop Warner level, it's all about fast out of the corner and up. And so that was very helpful. And just some good defensive suggestions. And then on the offensive side, Coach Horton's amazing too. He's like calmer than Coach Sitton.
2 different dynamics.
Yeah, right, which is perfect, right, for offense and defense or whatever. But he gave us a nice little package of plays.
Okay.
And I really think in our this group with the youth. I think we're going to have some different packages, and give different kids different opportunities to do, different things, play different positions and all. So it was great time.
But Coach Meeks, other than just liking football, why did you do that?
Well, it's twofold. One, I want them to be successful,
sure.
and we want the kids to have success. That way, when we do get them in middle school, they have a love for the game. And football is a very love-hate relationship. But it matters. And but the second is, I want a athletic program and a football program that our community loves and our community wants to be a part of. And the only way to make that happen is bridging the gap between the community and the athletic department. Right. And most of the time that gap is very small. It's just taking the initiative to make it happen. And so it is that is a huge relationship with our youth sports and our department for us to continue to have success. We want kids growing up who want to be Henderson Lions. They want to run out of the tunnel on Friday night. They want to be on the court in basketball season, baseball field, sure. whatever it is. But we want them looking forward to being a part of that. And the only way to do it is to get involved. And this is just the start of that. By us bridging the gap and having things with the coaches and inviting them out to practice and us being able to go to games on Saturdays. I mean, it's just a big deal. And so we want kids to already know us. When they show up for the first time in pre-athletics or in 7th grade athletics and we walk in, we don't want them to just be sitting there saying, who is this guy? They need to know us. And so I think it's a very important relationship.
I think so too. I'm wonderful you did it. Micah, you've lived other places than Henderson, some bigger cities. What he said about young people, guys wanting to be a Henderson Lion, wanting to run out of the tunnel, they don't want to just play football. They want to be a Henderson Lion because Henderson's still big enough to where the Lions are the football team. It's not really the same dynamic as it in Austin or San Antonio when there's 15 high schools. I mean, it's different, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, the sense of community and small town football, it's different when, it's an identity for the community. And so, that works both ways, right? I mean, we want it to be a good identity, something we're proud of.
Sure.
And, represent ourselves well and to all the other schools in the area,
right.
Because – and too, as you get older, you realize you meet people from Chapel Hill, and Kilgore, and so the how you represent yourself in sports throughout your growing up, it still matters.
It's nicer when someone goes, "Oh, yeah, you're that guy from Henderson that we played," rather than, "Oh, yeah, you're that guy from Henderson."
Right, sure.
Yeah. A little bit different.
Small world, right? What goes around comes around, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, no, it's a special thing, and we're just glad, Coach Meeks is here. He's brought in an amazing group of coaches. He's done a lot for all the athletics, just instantly pretty much, just with connecting and being there and being involved. And so we're really excited. I'm really excited.
This is Tia Juanita's, and this is the Coach Rick Meeks Show. It's our first one of these. Micah, thank you for visiting.
My pleasure.
If you could hand your headset over to Larry, I want to bring him in before we go to break. If you're checking in from center and wondering what's the deal, why is he wearing red? This is the Henderson Lions Show, but we'll have Coach Nick Brown at the pizzeria soon. We look forward to going back home, getting some of that. Pepperoni pizza. I'm sure we'll have one.
Thin crust.
We'll have the Rick Meeks pizza.
Run through twice.
I don't have any idea what Coach Brown's. Do you know offhand what his favorite pizza is?
We haven't had that conversation with him yet.
We'll soon be finding that out. Cyrus said his favorite will be a large. Turn you up there, Larry.
Coach Brown's a lineman. Just feed him pizza.
Feed him pizza. As long as
we love Coach Brown.
Dough. The reason I ask you back, Larry, is that now is the time we talk sports other than football, and that's cross-country guys and girls, tennis guys and girls. The volleyball program's about to crank up, and what's the kind of the state of the union of all that?
Yes, sir. So tennis, we had I would assume a scrimmage match, team tennis against Marshall on Saturday, and actually fared very well. I guess if that was truly a match in a game situation, we'd have won 10-3. But they continued to play all the matches out. So anyway, a lot of excitement there. We cross country, their first meet is the 15th, which is similar for us from a scrimmage standpoint. Our first scrimmage in football will be on the 15th at Hallsville.
All right.
And then volleyball kicked off today. They have a couple scrimmages this week. One home scrimmage Friday, and an away scrimmage on Saturday. So, it's rocking and rolling fast.
Full swing. School hasn't even started. Full swing.
Full swing. So volleyball has high expectations. They played 3 rounds deep last year. Graduated a good bit, but I think we have a really good young nucleus. And so they got off to a good start today. So a lot of high expectations there as well.
Nice.
You do some volleyball broadcasts for NETSN. What if you? I mean, I know you're not
you
the
have any in
volleyball
Henderson
expert,
this year?
Sir?
You have any in Henderson this year?
Not that I'm aware of as of yet.
Why not?
I'm still trying to put together my total schedule.
Yeah, we don't have the schedule yet.
I still got a couple of people there, but I don't quite make it this far. I kind of like on the Eastern.
You're here today.
I am today because I got a ride.
Well, we might could do a Henderson
We might be
playoff.
able to do something in there. I don't mind doing that at all. But
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. Are they coming to center?
If they do, we're on.
If they're on, there. I don't know if they play it. We'll see how it goes. But but yeah, we have a lot of it, and I'm still working on the schedule, putting that together. But new coaches in some new places out there too. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably start up the first Tuesday, maybe the last Tuesday of August, the first Tuesday of September. I got some great locations. Did my first real year last year. The girls seemed to like it. The coaches had a good time. So I'm looking forward to it too. I've been doing some research, watching stuff on YouTube to figure out, make sure I know my calls and stuff like that, know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll get to the great camera angles this year with the extra wireless stuff, where we can catch the whole match instead of the camera moving constantly. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it this year. I'm having a lot of fun with it last
Tuesday
year.
night volleyball on NETSN with Larry Pierce, and hopefully we'll get some.
And maybe some Henderson games. I'll do my best. Is it the Lionettes or the Lady Lions?
Lady Lions.
Lady Lions, okay. Lady Lions, I promise I'll try.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about NETSN and this channel that you're watching. Brett, who you met in the segment before, is the mastermind behind it, and those of you who are Henderson football fans and Henderson Lion fans, there's some stuff you need to know about that. So we'll get to that in the next section. But before we quit this section, I wanted to ask you, in center, our colors are purple and gold. There's some white thrown in. I've heard the cheerleaders do purple and white before, but it's always purple and something else. What's Henderson's colors?
Red, white, and
red, white, and blue. Blue, red, and white.
Blue, red, and white. Is there a dominant color? Is it more
No, not
red
necessarily.
than blue?
Mm-mm. I think it's just pretty much
America, baby.
a known fact that when we play Kilgore and in the future when we play Carthage, we're blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a blue foe like Jacksonville that you become red for? Or?
I mean, not necessarily.
No.
I think those two
yet.
are just big rivalries.
Yeah. Chapel Hill.
And honestly, it's interesting. It's almost kind of like when certain people have graduated here, because there's a group of the community that cannot stand Kilgore and don't mind Carthage, and then there's a group that cannot stand Carthage and don't mind Kilgore.
Based on when you
and
came
it's kind of just been when they came through and who was successful and who wasn't, and so it's kind of been an interesting dynamic. And the way I see it, I just don't care for either one of them.
Okay, so then probably blue because that's what you wear against the biggest rivals.
There you go.
Okay,
We can go that route.
I've always
But I
wondered.
guess we need to be red against Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
You kind of need to be. We'll
See,
ask. We'll
that's
ask Brett.
perfect. So y'all have the perfect hats for NETSN.
There you go.
Y'all are thinking about the Henderson Lions for
That's
sure.
right. He was when he started. All right, we'll be back. We'll talk a little bit about NETSN. You're watching the Rick Meeks Show live from Tijuanitas here in Henderson, and Micah Howard was kind enough to bring us this broadcast from Edward Jones. We'll be right back.
Even the Dallas Morning News sees that Portacool is a company on the move. Well, in October, they moved a light year ahead with the Apex series. These are the coolest fans yet, both with temperature and design. You're able to control them from your cell phone. Portacool, when comfort counts. So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center. Hey, has the world of finance ever left you a little confused? Not sure if you're moving up or down? Well, that's why America has Edward Jones and why East Texas has Micah Howard. He helps you make sense of all those symbols because, symbols make noise. So when you trust your finances to Micah Howard, you're relieved. Edward Jones, make sense of investing.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here at T.O. Juanita's. It's the Coach Rick Meeks Show. Rick's not currently with us. His family's over there eating, so we thought we'd give him a little time to go over and be a dad. This is Brett Swinney of NETSN. We all are of NETSN. Those of you watching from Center, Shires and I started doing video because we just kind of had to after COVID. That's kind of the way it was going. We used to do it just on radio, and we were learning as we went, and we had I think a basketball, maybe a football game.
It was in Rusk.
Basketball playoff game.
Yeah, remember we took the video broadcast from you guys, and y'all had to do audio only, remember?
Yeah, but even before that, I think we were doing a Chapel Hill game, and I was calling.
I remember because y'all stood over and watched us. I think y'all just kind of hung out and watched our equipment there
that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah.
We were pretty upset and sad. But even before that, we were going to Chapel Hill, and I called Chapel Hill to try to find whoever the tech director was. And this guy picked up the phone, and I started asking him questions, and he was giving me answers way over my pay grade. And after a few minutes of talking, you do what we do. Oh, and he was giving us advice that was really nice. And then the Russ game where you outmaneuvered us.
Sorry about
for
that, guys.
coverage.
It wasn't nothing personal. We just grabbed both games there.
It was that game. You said, "Why don't we work together?" And so that's where this alliance was forged, and that's why we're on YouTube, and it's worked out, I think, really well. But if you're a Henderson Lion, you may or may not know what NETSN is. You may not have seen very many games on it. So, Brett, where did this idea come from, and tell us a little bit about it.
So I am a technology person at Chapel Hill ISD, and of course you mentioned COVID hit, and it kind of changed the game.
Yeah.
As far as football, especially on Friday nights. Used to, you couldn't stream games live.
It was against the rules.
You could record it and then re-air it later, but there was no streaming. And so they opened it up. It was supposed to be a temporary thing. They opened it up, and
Pandora got out.
Yeah, so the Coach Reardon, still a coach at Chapel Hill, he had connections through Texan Live, and he was new to Chapel Hill, and I was the tech at the high school, and so he's just like, hey, would this be something you'd be interested in doing? And I said, sure, I go to the games anyway. I'll just, make a little bit of money. They pay me whatever from the company. And so they gave us equipment. We went to games. They'd send a broadcast guy, and I just ran the computer. And then all of a sudden, I remember this because it was the Palestine game. I had everything set up, waiting for somebody. Nobody showed. About middle of the second quarter, I just put the headset on and kind of started talking, and
hey,
I was
everyone.
like, hey, let's do it. So, and then it just kind of built from there. I had fun. It was just me and my buddy Rob that was also a tech at the school. He was my camera guy, and so we just kind of did it there for a year. And then basketball season came around. Of course, they didn't care about that, Right. So I was like, hey, we could do this. So I basically bought exactly what they had, and we did basketball and did a few baseball. And it kind of grew from there. Then my tech side started, and I started buying all these toys that my wife didn't necessarily think I needed, but here and there, I kind of acquired different things. And the next year, I think we just did Chapel Hill again, but kind of in a little more, technology. It was a little more upgraded version.
Once you get your feet on the ground, you start watching networks and go, how do they do that?
Yeah.
We could probably do that. Maybe we could do that.
Yeah, and so after that, I had Corey and Vince with me. I think they were at the game when we met you guys.
They were.
And they were kind of working with me, and we were thinking, man, there's other schools out there that don't have what we're doing here.
Right.
And so through the kind of our connection with Azalea and their sponsorship, we expanded and went where we were covering more schools, and went from one setup to 2 setups to 3. Now we have 5, not even including you guys, 2 setups. So I mean, during football season, I'm excited. We'll have any point of time we could have 7 broadcasts on our YouTube channel going at one time, which
right.
Looking back 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, that's not what I was planning on doing. This was a hobby, just something for fun.
Right.
Maybe pick up a few extra bucks and move on. But it's really grown.
We're planning on like 90 to 100 games.
Yeah, we've got around 90 regular season games, and then that's not even counting our playoffs that we always get. Pretty good pick of the litter games on that. So we also have a show, not including this show. You guys have. You have your coach's show and center.
Right.
Hopefully we can get something going more consistently with Coach Meeks if that works out. And then we also have our Beast from the East show that airs every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Live on YouTube.
What do you do there? What beast do you talk about?
So the Beasts of East Texas, the Beast schools, yeah. So
tomorrow,
tomorrow night is our big school show. We'll talk about 6A, 5A, 4A, our polls. We'll talk about the different districts and
Have
stuff.
the polls come out yet, or are you gonna wait till after the show?
The poll will release tomorrow at 7. You can't get it before the show starts.
Okay.
So it'll release right at 7 on our NETSN app, which is also free. If you haven't downloaded that, what are you doing? I mean, we've released the newest update. It's got a new home screen. It's a little more easy to navigate, and you've also got we'll have playoff brackets built in it this year, so it'll be a little bit extra. But yeah, so we'll have that every Tuesday night. So if you are just an East Texas sports football fan, you want to hear some guys go back and forth and talk about the teams and everything, every Tuesday night we'll be there. I think, and that streams on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. We've got that going out everywhere on Tuesdays.
If you're just sorry, go ahead.
The pick'ems is what's fun, man.
Yeah, and we have our pick'ems, like you said.
I mean,
I enjoy beating everybody in the pick'ems. Larry's.
Man, I got behind last
here
year
we go.
by a couple of weeks.
Here's the excuse.
I still made a good run. But my first year I did really well.
Yeah.
I was up there.
We had a really good turnout last year. I think we had over 100 people participate in our pick'em contest on the app.
Cool,
There's 10 games every week. We kind of try to pick the good ones. Okay. And we'll actually, on our shows, once the season starts, we'll give our picks on air. The Beast from these guys, we'll make our selections, and that's the fun part is like we pick ours before, and then you get to see who we pick, and so I really enjoy it. I think
and then you go to the stadium and you get the fans going, I was watching the show and you guys are picking this.
I'll probably take it.
You're crazy.
Well,
what are you thinking?
Yeah,
I love every minute of it.
And we'll do our polls, and we'll forget somebody, and then we'll get that fan. Hey, you didn't pick us. I was telling Coach Meeks earlier that I put Henderson in my poll starting the season. Now, whether or not they make it in the top, I said, hey, you're in my poll, Coach.
You're in my poll.
So, but yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
Before we're not going to break, but do you have that ad queued up? This is about a 60-second video summary of what you get here on NETSN. We'll check this out.
Good luck.
There you go.
This is where legends rise and moments are made.
They're still on his feet. Come on, let's go, still on his feet.
From the buzzer beaters to the game winners, we bring you the action. Raw, real, relentless. We cover every angle, every story. From the streets to the stadiums.
We're going all the way.
Your favorite athletes. Your teams.
Ford breaks a tackle. Oh my God.
Your passion. All in one place. New games, live shows.
Here he goes. He's got some blockers.
This is the future of sports media.
There he goes. Picked up in the secondary.
This isn't just a network. This is a movement.
Ooh, oh, he ran over the filter.
Welcome to NETSN Game On.
That's exciting, isn't it? Yeah. High school football, and we want you to go to the games. If you can't, though, especially the away games.
Or if you're at one game, you want to watch another game, right?
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. I mean, we get that all the time. Like, especially some of the games we're going to have. Your district rival may be on NETSN. You can go over and see how they're doing. A
lot of grandkids.
And most times too, there's just a little bit of a slight delay, so you get to watch some replays.
Right.
Even though we play some replays.
If you're watching the game, you're there for.
You're and if you're at a game we're covering and you're at the game and you don't watch it live, you can go back and watch it later.
That's right. It's on NETSN Live. You just click and you'll be able to see the game for a long time.
And I love the parents because you can tell they're watching. As you go, hey, my son's name is this, not this.
Right. You get corrected real fast. You do.
That's right.
The exciting part this year, guys, and we talked about the expansion of more crews. That's also we are doing more teams.
Okay.
So
what's the lineup?
So obviously you guys are doing center. Larry is we call him Where's Larry, like Where's Waldo, because Larry's all over the place. So he's got his Piney Woods game of the week, at least one a week, sometimes two.
Yeah. And who are the main teams of the week you'll be covering?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Beckville, Timpson, Tenaha, Joaquin, Shelbyville, San Augustine, Pine and West Beach.
And a lot of times they play each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on top of that, our guys up in the Tyler area, we'll be covering White House full-time this year. It'll be our first season to cover them. We're picking up Carlisle full-time this year. We covered them a few last year. They liked what we did. Carlisle, obviously, if you're watching this from Henderson, it's kind of right down the road.
Right,
and then Big Sandy full-time. We did the same thing with them last year. We covered them a few games, and they like what we did, and we're doing them. And then, of course, Brook Hill. This will be our third football season to cover Brook Hill. They're kind of the team that we started with, and, of course, Coach Ryle and that group over at Brook Hill footballs, they're ready to go. You never know who they're going to have on their team. It's always we get the over the sea support there because you've got the Finland's pretty popular. We're like the ESPN of Finland and Mexico and some of that. So we got those teams all season long, and then we're doing this year a new thing. It's a NETSN game of the week. Sometimes it'll be more than one a week. But we're going to have Henderson a few times this year. We mentioned that earlier when we coached Meeks. We're going to have some Palestine, some Lindale, Chapel Hill. So some of that district. So if you are Henderson and we're not covering you, there may be a district game that you can switch over to. We're doing some West Rusk. We're doing, I think, some Tatum. Just a lot of schools around. And we'll actually have a show that we kind of go over that schedule. We're going to have a big schedule release show here in, I guess it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow after our previews. And so it's our new show that we're kind of doing. Since we have so many games this year, hey, why not we do a show for it? So we'll have our beats from these guys, and we'll go down the lineup of the games and kind of talk about what kind of games we have this year. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to get started. This is just we recorded yesterday, getting ready for tonight. Football season's coming, and I'm excited. It's here.
It is. It smells. You can smell it.
And everything's coming.
Smell it.
Like we've been prepping for a while, but now it's really getting here.
And we'll do some scrimmages that you're welcome to watch. A lot of that is
testing.
It's training and testing.
We're doing our own training as well. But that's coming up here. Micah was telling me. First scrimmage is a week from Friday in Henderson, and that's where it'll be across the viewing area. Well, Brett, thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing that. Now you know what you're missing if you didn't know that. We'll be right back to wrap the show up. We'll bring Coach Meeks back up, and we'll be right back in about 60 seconds from Tijuana. Stick around.
The team at McAdams Propane is committed to fueling generations of East Texans. And the work Billy Bob and Lisa McAdams started is growing under Josh's leadership. What began in Center has grown into Livingston and Marshall, Henderson and Carthage. For propane, it's McAdams.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name. And they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
Everybody, welcome back. It's the Coach Rick Meeks Show, live here from Tia Juanita's. We've had
Are we wrapping this up here?
We're getting ready to wrap it up so we can
good food
tear into this
tonight,
food.
Man, I'll tell you what.
I know y'all ready to eat.
Well, they brought us all this food, and we were supposed to show it off, and then we just tore it up, so we had to replace it.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Right.
Hey, good food and good music tonight.
Yes, that's right.
I'm doing a little zydeco dance a while ago. This is all good.
All right, so, Coach, we got a when's your first scrimmage?
That will be next Friday. We travel to Hallsville.
Okay.
So our two scrimmages are both on the road. We go to Hallsville and then to Tatum. But yeah, next Friday night in Hallsville.
Right. And what are you looking on? What are you looking for in the scrimmages? What do you want to see come out of this?
Well, I mean, I think some areas that us as a coaching staff have kind of not necessarily labeled, but us as coaching staff kind of, some areas that we know potentially could be problems for us. We want to see growth from today to that point,
right?
And what that looks like. And then all in all, I want to see how we compete. I want to see what our mentality is as a team. I want to see if we compete the right way, because, y'all know, just like over the last few years, our mentality offensively and defensively, just kind of that relentless effort and pursuit that we had there, we've got to have that mentality here. And so I want to see where we're at, and so we know kind of how to adjust practice from there to get our kids into that mindset.
All right, well, very good. And then we talked about this earlier, but NETSN is going to cover, it sounds like 3 games for Henderson this year. Yep. They're going to Gainesville in a neutral site.
Yep, play them at Kaufman. And then Brett said the Kilgore game at home and the Lindale game at home.
Yeah, those are going to be big.
So those are going to be big games, yes, sir.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, this is the first, hopefully, of many.
Yeah, but it needs to be the first of many. We got to hash out these what the dates are, man.
Oh yeah,
at least once a month, if not twice. Surely we can make that happen.
Sure,
I bet we can. Yeah, I bet we can.
I mean, even if we don't come over, I bet you Brett and some of the other guys would be willing to come over here.
I know, but it ain't the same.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I mean, we welcome Brett with open arms, but it's not the same without y'all.
It kind of worked out.
And I definitely welcome Brett with open. Y'all maybe know because y'all have gotten to know him, but me and him go way back to elementary in Chapel Hill.
Right.
So anyway,
I understand. I totally understand. We would love to be here as much as possible this year. And so, I don't know. My first broadcast, I know you got the center game. My first broadcast is on Thursday the 28th. I'm doing Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. I'm gonna come with you, Pierce.
Now you're coming on Thursday, right? Because we're doing San Augustine, Beckville, and then Shelbyville, Troop is the first weekend for me, and then Thursday, Friday the next week. Thursday, Friday the next week. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're gonna try to get some scrimmages in, but we open up with Jacksonville, who's gonna be. They're going to be looking for some revenge after the whooping we gave them last year. So I expect them to be a much improved ball club from last year.
They played in the Tomato Bowl.
Yeah.
Love the Tomato Bowl.
That's right.
Tomato Bowl.
Love the Tomato Bowl.
2 teams with 2 new head coaches.
That's right.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Again, thanks for tuning in. This is the Coach Rick Meeks Show, brought to you live here at Tia Juanita's. I want to thank Micah Howard. We're here for him on the way out with Edward Jones. Again, if you got some money here and need to do some investing, I mean, these times it's sketchy. But you need some professional help, and Edward Jones is the place to get us. Right. Micah Howard here. Look forward to seeing y'all soon, whether it's with the Rough Riders, with the Lions, with the Bears, Dragons, whatever.
Tigers, whatever. Lions, Tigers, and Tigers. Lions, Tigers, and Bears.
That's right. Or White House. We're looking forward to having – maybe getting Kansas City Chief guy to come in. Oh, and by the way, I couldn't end the show or have a show without – who's the number 1 team in the country in college football right now?
Georgia?
LSU.
Maybe.
Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you. Look, August the 30th, we're going to be after our first game, but I'm sending the wife to the spa because August the 30th is going to be football from 11 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no break that day. It is on.
You're a big Longhorn fan too, right?
Yes, that's
So
right.
we got two of you here.
That's
All
right.
right.
Let's gig them.
All right, everybody, we'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Hey, has the world of finance ever left you a little confused? Not sure if you're moving up or down? Well, that's why America has Edward Jones and why East Texas has Micah Howard. He helps you make sense of all those symbols because, symbols make noise. So when you trust your finances to Micah Howard, you're relieved. Edward Jones, make sense of investing.
I don't know if Ricky's going to get to play down there. Ricky Stewart, our tailback, down there. That room is so loaded. I don't know if he's going to. Then they just got that number one running back for